Same situation as here as the last one, you guys, except these are perfect squares. That means that our binomials are the same. The two binomials being multiplied are the exact same. So x plus 3 squared just means x plus 3 times x plus 3. So I can separate those out, and then I can FOIL just like normal. Same with number 2. It just means that the parentheses are the same being multiplied. Go ahead and FOIL here and multiply those. Those are our two solutions for our multiplication of binomials. We're asking ourselves the same question here. How do we work backwards? Well, if you guys remember from when we were multiplying perfect square binomials, this was the rule, and this is actually on your star sheet, but it was flipped. So if it looks like this before, we were given a formula to make it look like this. Well, now we can just go backwards. Or if we revert back to what we know, which is our ax squared plus bx plus c, well, we still need to do the same steps that we've been doing, and we can fill those in here. We add the numbers to b, and then we multiply a and c, and those two terms have to multiply to be a and c as well. So again, we've got the same steps. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and write them in for you. Those are our 4 steps, the same as every set of notes that I've given you so far. You will notice that there's going to be a kind of quicker route than following this factor by grouping. This is one strategy you can use. If you find something that's faster for you and you understand how to get the correct answer, then by all means follow that. However, this factoring by grouping is always going to work for these problems. I'm going to move down the page a little bit so that I can write this better since it shrunk up right here on my page. Okay, I just moved my page around a little bit. I went ahead and found what a times c equals. That's 25 times 36, and it's 900. So then I would have listed out my factors of 900, and I want to find the pair that's going to give me a negative 60. If it's going to give me a negative number, I know that the two terms have to be negative. In order to multiply to be positive, but add to be negative, both terms have to be negative numbers. So if I go ahead and split the middle, like my rule says, I'll have 25x squared minus 30x again, plus 36. Now you do your factoring by grouping. I first got to make my groups. You always, always, always need a positive sign in between, so my minus goes on the inside. Okay, in my first set of parentheses, what can I factor out? 5x. That leaves me with a 5x on the inside minus 6. Now I want both sets of parentheses to be the same, so when I factor something out of my second set of parentheses, I want to make sure that whatever's left is going to be a positive 5x minus 6. Well, right now my signs are a negative and a positive. Those need to change, which means I'm going to factor out a negative number, and they're both divisible by 6. Okay, so that leaves me with 5x minus 6. Since our two sets of parentheses are the same, we factor those out, and we get what's left, which is 5x minus 6. And oh, looky there, this one was a perfect square, which means I can write it as 5x minus 6 squared. A faster route, you guys, would have been to notice that our 25, the square root of that is our 5, and then our 36, well, the square root of that is 6, and you need to choose the sign from here. On these examples, I'm going to go ahead and follow my faster route. So square root of 81, that's 9. Make sure you bring down your x. Square root of 16, that's 4. So I know it's going to look something like that. Now it needs to add to be negative, so that means it's a negative 4. That's my faster route. This would be my answer, my solution for this example number 2. Now, other times, we are going to need to kind of simplify things first. I did make one typo, so if you notice on number 3, you need to take that x away and make that a w. All the other terms are w's. That x should be a w as well. So we've got a 8w cubed plus 40w squared plus 50w. Well, so far, 8 and 50, those aren't square numbers. Those aren't perfect squares. A perfect square would be 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, all those numbers where you multiply the same thing together, you get one. So what can I factor out of 8, 40, and 50? Well, I can factor out 2, that's for sure. They also all have a w component, so I can factor out a w. So that leaves me with 4w squared plus 20w plus 25. Now you've got a perfect square of 4 and a perfect square of 25. This is when we can go ahead and factor a perfect square out. Don't forget to leave that 2w there. You're going to end up having the same thing, so it's going to be squared. It's going to give you 2w, 4 square rooted is 2, w squared square rooted is w, and then plus, we know it's a plus sign, the square root of 25, which is 5. That is your solution. This is an example for you to try on your own. On this example, I'm going to go ahead and factor by grouping, so I will pause the video here and factor for yourself, and then you can pause the video and check your answer as well. This is the solution to number 1. Same thing for these ones. I'm going to go ahead and fill out the answers. You can check them by pausing the video and then coming back and replaying once I've added the answers. Here are your answers for number 2 and 3. It's x minus 12 squared and 4x plus 1 squared for those answers. Alright, you guys, make sure that you show the substitute your completed notes, and you can then receive the practice to complete. Do not forget, next class that I see you, you'll have the first 30 minutes to review for the test, and then we will take the test. It's a shorter test than normal. If you need help, I'll be here before or after school on Monday and before school on Tuesday. You will be taking that test in class on Tuesday.